You're listening to the Living Well-Rounded podcast. Hey friends, have you ever felt overwhelmed with work, home life, and your personal dealings? Have you ever felt like you just want to stop the noise and step away from all of it just for a bit? Well, today, I am giving you permission to pause. In today's episode, we are going to talk about how I finally got off the hamster wheel and awarded myself the opportunity to pause, to step away and to refocus. Let's chat about what it looks like to pause and the rewards that lie ahead. Hang tight. Hey there, friend. Welcome to the Living Well-Rounded podcast, a curated space for those of us seeking an intentional life filled with grace, passion, and purpose. I'm your hostess, Geomyra, wife, mama, life and biz coach, educator, dessert fanatic, and on the ultimate mission to get you closer to your idea of what it means to live well-rounded. Right here's where you'll find exceptional resources, noteworthy tips, community, and relatable stories, no matter what season of life you're in. Take a break, cozy up, hang out with me for a bit, and let's dive in. All right, friends, so I have been dying to share my thoughts with you on the idea of pausing and stepping away. The interesting thing is, about a few weeks ago, I unintentionally paused a lot of the things that were going on around me. And once it hit me that I hadn't shown up on Instagram to post, comment, like, share, or any of those things, I was a bit terrified. I was terrified because I was wondering how my absence would affect my numbers. Would folks unfollow me due to lack of content? Would I miss out on anything? Would I feel left behind on the curve? But you know what? We're always going to lose followers. We're going to gain new followers. There's always going to be things going on around us. That's just what it is. But you see, after a while, I made the decision to not even care, to bother, or worry about any of those things at all. Why, you ask? Because it dawned on me that I had felt a sigh of relief. A relief from the pressure to keep up with what felt like a lot of noise at the time on social media. And I say it all the time on this show that I'm not the biggest fan of social media. I know. Sounds bad. And the reason is I just like to live my life in real time. I really do. I don't post on weekends. I finally surrendered to keeping up there. But I do know that I do need to post every now and again. But I really try very hard to be present in the moment with my family, my friends, my clients, my team, and myself. However, we all know that social media is needed if we are trying to grow our businesses and to continue to get our message out there to our audiences, especially if you are a small business owner or entrepreneur like myself. But the question is, we're on social media, we're posting, we're keeping up, we're doing all the things, but at what cost? Okay, at what cost? If it affects your sanity, your peace, and your ability to focus on what matters most, is it worth it? Is it worth feeling pulled in different directions if you're trying to keep up, especially if you feel like you're not even making any damn progress? That was me. If I'm being very candid here, that was me. That is how I was feeling. I was posting, showing up, doing the whole song and dance, and I felt like I was getting nowhere. Still losing followers, still just opening up an app, doing all the things that everybody else does and what people tell you to do, but at what cost? The crazy thing is, during that time, I was also not feeling my best. And as my seasoned listeners, aka my well-rounders, know, I live with a chronic condition called fibromyalgia on a daily basis. And the crazy thing about my illness is that it's a silent illness, an invisible illness where people can't see it. They can't see that, you're sick. It's not like anything is showing up on the outside. A lot of it is internal. And to the world, you look like you're fine. But really, a lot of us are suffering in silence. And so during that time frame, I was having terrible flare-ups that reminded me of the early days of dealing with fibro before I was diagnosed and before my medication was a part of my everyday routine. So I was in bed for days. I was sick to my stomach. I was nauseous, and I was going through severe migraines that had come back It was terrible. And silently, I was away from my computer, clients, work, and just all the noise that I just mentioned. I decided while laying on my couch that I owed it to myself to keep the laptop closed and to try to get back to what my new norm is before dealing with everyday hustle and bustle. It was such a great time to actually just start to do some reflection. And I'm just so grateful for my village and my family and friends who definitely was like, you need to take a break, you need to rest. They gave me grace. I had meetings that needed to be canceled, but the people that loved me, they knew why, and they gave me that grace. So I'm so grateful for that. The thing is, I was reminded that as an entrepreneur and a hard-working one at that I was deserving of the break. I was deserving of the break. It was my body telling me I needed to rest. It was everything, the energy around me, higher powers, whatever you believe in, telling me I needed to sit my fill in the blank down. And as a wife and mom, I go so hard for my family. You guys, I give them all that I have so that they have what they need to move forward and to make a difference in this world. But you know what? I decided that I cannot show up for my family or show up for anybody else if I don't have all of my stuff together, if I'm not feeling my best, if I'm not able to do the job, do it with love, with joy and excitement. And so I gave myself permission to pause. I gave myself permission to recover, permission to refresh, permission to turn down the volume. It felt so loud at the time. I gave myself permission to say no, hard no's that ended up cashing in big. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. I gave myself permission to take care of myself because you know what? We are all so deserving of that. If you don't take care of you, who the hell else will? Okay? Think about that. If you're not giving yourself your best, if you're not replenishing yourself, doing all the things that's best for your body, your mind, your spirit, whose responsibility is that? It's yours. Look in the mirror. It is all on you. The truth of the matter there is that with or without us at our best or around it all, the noise of social media, work trauma, drama, and all the things, those things are still going to be there. Those things will continue to be going. Always use the saying, like, if you get hit by a bus, and let's say you work at the bank, the grocery store, wherever, they're going to find somebody to replace you. Maybe not as easily because we're in a pandemic, but eventually that spot will be filled, but your family will be left with a void. So a couple weeks ago, I imagined myself stepping outside of the bubble and allowing myself to stop and just observe everything that was around me. So imagine there's your world, this bubble of everything that goes on your day-to-day basis, your tasks, responsibilities, and all the things. And you're giving yourself permission to kind of just stop and to take inventory of everything happening around you. I did that. I did that by when I was in the bed, when I was on the couch, when I just was very sick. I just was like, okay, what is going on around me that just doesn't feel right? And so I took inventory of the things that were causing me stress, the things that were causing me tension, and all the things that they didn't feel good. Like straight up, it just didn't feel good. And I felt like, I've started to get sucked back into that place of doing what people think I should be doing or showing up in a way that I thought I should be showing up, but it just didn't feel good. So I made a decision to hit reset and to show up differently. I talk about hitting reset on this show a lot, but the cool thing, at any moment, any day, any time, you can hit reset. It doesn't have to be January 1. It doesn't have to be on Monday. It doesn't have to be in the morning. It can be in the middle of the day, on a Tuesday, in October, if you want to hit reset, okay? So I gave myself permission to pause in order to unload so I could rebuild. And if I'm being very candid here, that is one of the reasons why season 6 of this podcast has literally been delayed and pushed back so many times. I have showed up on social media more times than I can count saying, hey, season 6 is coming. Ooh, all the song and dance. But between not feeling well physically, mentally, I needed a break because things just didn't feel right. And I kept saying to my husband, I'm like, it just doesn't feel right. Like I know I put this deadline in my head, but it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel authentic. I was telling my friend Ty, I was like, I'm supposed to be putting out a new season, but I'm just not motivated. And he's like, you know what, friend? It's just not time. And I said, you know what? I received that. Because I wasn't motivated. I didn't know which guests I wanted to invite on the show. I knew I wanted a new direction for this show, but I wasn't going to tap, certain names, certain people, certain industries, because I wanted to show up differently. So I had to just sit. I had to sit still. I had to sit in silence. I had to regather my thoughts. I had to reset. I had to give myself permission to pause, because my message wasn't what I wanted it to be at that time. My drive and my passion, they were just off. It just was not in alignment. And so I decided, instead of rushing the show just to feel like I was keeping up with everybody else's numbers or what I said I was going to do, I decided that I would rather chill out for a bit until it felt right, until it felt authentic, until I felt like it was something that my audience deserved. I felt like I wanted to give my audience, you guys, the best of the best. And in order to do that, I needed to pause. And we hear the phrase all the time that done is better than perfect, right? We hear it from everybody, everywhere, blah, 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 blah. However, it doesn't hurt to pause until you can show up and deliver on a level that blows people's minds. Be okay with chilling out for a bit so you can collect your thoughts and make a plan that feels exciting and just right for you in the next season ahead. We are moving into a new year, and I can't think of a better time to step away and to hit reset. Now is the time to put pen to paper to figure out what you want your best year to look like. Now is the time to look in the mirror and give yourself permission to step back and to pause. Delegate and outsource if you have to. Do what you have to do for your sanity. If it feels like it's too much, if it's overwhelming, give it to someone else. Hit pause, set it to the side, do what you gotta do. Say no to what doesn't feel right. If it feels icky, if it feels pressed, if it feels pressured, if it feels forced, say no. And it can be a no right now. It doesn't have to be a no forever. Just say, nah, you know what? I'm gonna fall back. But I want you to say yes to yourself if it means that mentally you are in the right place. Say no if physically and emotionally it feels like it could just be too much for you right now. Give yourself permission to do what is right for you, to do what is right for your family, to do what is right for the better good of your business, the better good of your forward movement in your company or whatever it is. Give yourself permission to do what is right for you right now in this season. Because here's the thing. When I gave myself permission and I was obedient to what was so obvious, there was a big payoff and a reward that came with that. Behind the scenes, I was asked to not speak once or twice. I was invited to speak at 3 major events, along with being invited as a guest on various podcasts and platforms. And you guys, one of those events is a bucket list thing and a game changer. And I know that looking back, if I hadn't have taken time to work on it and to do all the things, that it just wouldn't have been my best. I was able to put my energy, all of my energy, into this thing instead of just keeping up with all the noise and the nonsense around me. And by me paying attention and focusing on what was important, I had time to work on new content, new opportunities that happened to come my way. I don't want to say that things fell in my lap. Nope, I do not want to say that, because I know I bust my ass and I know I really put, everything into what I do. But I know, again, like I said, those opportunities would not have been served my very best if I was just focusing on all the wrong things. So it was proven to me during the past few weeks, it has been proven, the importance of saving my best for my audience and for the people that pour into me as well. And not necessarily the masses. And that's what I think about social media sometimes, the masses. How can you put your time and energy into the people that are your ideal client, your ideal customers, or your ideal people that you want to serve? So I want you to think about that as well. If you are a business owner, instead of shouting to the masses, how can you hone in and give your very best to those people? And for some of us, those people may be the people that are under our roofs as well, or the person, our inner person that needs the attention. And I love speaking and educating so much. It truly is a blessing to be able to share my message of the importance of living a life that feels well-rounded and complete. But you know what? I cannot do that if I am just doing all the things, serving all the wrong people, doing all the wrong things. And so I was able to do more educating, to do more serving, to do more showing up when I stepped away from the chaos and the hustle that was wearing me down. So imagine what you can do, friend, when you close your laptop, when you toss that phone to the side, when you stop the scrolling and the liking, and when you stop making yourself accessible to everyone. Imagine the progress you would make if you stepped away from the noise and you granted yourself permission to only work on the projects and the people that served you well. Get excited about the possibility of what it is to be like in the next season of your life when you allow yourself time to think clearly. Now is the time to open up your goal planner and to daydream big, really big, about the next big thing in your life. It is time for you, friend, to give yourself permission to pause. I'm going to keep saying it. Give yourself permission to pause, to tap out, to step away. I promise you, greater and greater will come your way as a result. The cool part is you are in control of your time and how you spend it. Think about that. You are in control. No one else. You can set the boundaries. You can set the rules. You can set the stage. And with that being said, I want to challenge you this week ahead, to take inventory of the things you need to take a break from. Consider the things that aren't bringing you joy or making you feel progressive in this season. Offload them, pause them, outsource, do what you have to do. And in the words of my mama, you have to take one step back in order to take 2 steps forward every now and again. It works, and it is so worth it. I kept hearing my mom this week saying, listen, Geomyra, you might have to just chill. Take that step back. I know it's scary to take the step back because you don't want to feel like you're behind. But when you are working in silence, when you are doing the work, when you are working on yourself, you will be able to show up as your best and kill it and run laps around these people. Silence the noise and let's get to work. Let's get to work on your goals and your inner peace, which is the most important thing, well-rounder. I truly hope you are able to take what I've gone through recently and shift your perspective if you also need to do so. If you are listening and you know that you need to give yourself permission to pause, come say hello to me over in the DMs. Let's chat privately. In your stories, you can tag me with the words, I'm giving myself permission to pause, because you need to give yourself permission. No one else has that authority but you, my friend. Only you. And so I'm getting excited for you already. I'm getting excited about your progress and all the big things that you're going to make happen. I know it is going to be so good. Cannot wait to see it. I cannot wait to celebrate with you. Thank you, friend, for listening. Thank you for listening as I share my thoughts with you today, the journey I've been on over the last few weeks to get myself all the way together. And if you enjoyed today's episode, please do your girl a favor. Head over to Apple Podcasts and drop us a review, that 5-star rating. It means so much as we grow the show and our mission. Head over to Geomyra.com and grab some of the free resources that you can dive into while you are on your hiatus. You'll also find a link to my favorite goal planner, Power Sheets, which have been a game changer for me as I plan out my weeks, months, and the upcoming year. All of this stuff will be linked in the show notes, so you'll have it handy. And I want you just to enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of your day. Take a minute to just do some reflecting. And in the meantime, stay safe, stay positive, and focus on what matters most. You got this, friend. Bye. Thanks for kicking it with us, Well-Rounder. Share this goodness with your squad and drop us a quick review. Get notified of new episodes by hitting the subscribe button. Until next time, seek a well-rounded life and remember to focus on what matters most.